Good afternoon, my fellow Americans. My name is George Wilson. I am your presidential candidate for president of the United States of America, and this year, and I'm looking forward to serving you and to serving the American people. Serving the American people and being a help to this country and getting this country back to its once glory, that we can be proud that we are Americans. Today, I'm going to briefly talk about the coronavirus. I think we've heard pretty much everything that we need to hear about the coronavirus. And that's simply doing all the things that we need to do to stay safe, to protect yourselves and your family. Make sure you have your hand sanitizers. Make sure you wash your hands often. Make sure you have your mask. Especially when you're in very large company of people like grocery stores or shopping outlets or malls or something. Make sure you wear your mask. It's not mandatory here in California per se. In certain areas of California it is. I don't know what states you guys are from, and I don't know what the government has deemed mandatory for you all. So I'm just going to say, for what we have here in California, I believe there's a couple of cities that they deem necessary or mandatory to wear masks. So to wear a face mask. So if we all get into the same practice of wearing face masks, I believe we help curb this pandemic and flatten the line to it. Again, this is their call in Washington. This is what they want to see. I know that the American people want to get back to work, hurry up and get back to work. Some want to get back to socializing and, getting out of the house. This is all great because I'm down with you. I want to go back to going out to the malls. I want to go back out to, eating out or going to the park or what have you. It is, I know what we all want to do, but at the same time, we all have to be safe and be smart about what we do. And so I'm asking the American people to be smart and be safe about everything you do. Wear your mask. I want to give a special thanks to all of the wonderful men and women that are on the front line. God bless you, Marcel. Marcel, yeah, okay. That on the front line in these nursing homes and emergency rooms and the hospitals all across the nation. I want to give thanks to these people, the first responders, all of those that are on the front line, and they're putting their lives on the line to save others. It takes a special kind of person to be on the front line, and every day, you're putting yourself in danger and at risk to your own health. And there are some that have fallen sick to this coronavirus, COVID-19, and pray for them. Let's pray for them as well. And heartfelt sympathy, deepest condolences to all the American people that have fallen slain to this. The this coronavirus and to their families. Our prayers are constantly with you here, especially at the Shepherd Heart Outreach Ministry, which I pastor. I always tell people first, I'm a man of God and pastor first before President of the United States. And I just want everybody to know that our prayers are certainly out there for those that have lost their loved ones and lost them along the way due to this coronavirus. And I'm praying for each and every one of you on a daily basis. I just want you to know that I'm praying for you. I'm not a candidate that's about the job and the office and the position over everything else. No. That tells me I'm humble enough to realize that it's about serving the American people. It's about serving you guys and working to save, to help save America. And it's about, of course, God first and then the American people. The position and the title is just a perk that comes along with, along with my ministry and the job that God called me to do. Hello, Tammy, how are you? It is, but also deep concern for those that are still not going about doing the things that we need to do to protect ourselves. And I know that our government is corrupted. And I often find myself sometimes almost painted back into a corner when I think about the deep corruption that's in Washington and on Capitol Hill, in the Capitol and the White House. And here is a position in which I'm running for. And, I'm running to help the American people and stop all the lies. That's why we have a vote, Absolute Truth 2020, that this administration will never lie to you. Wouldn't put no hard spin on anything. You will always know the truth. And wherever truth may find herself, we definitely will let the American people know what their tax dollars are going to and what's going on in their country. And going on in your country, shall I say, our country. And how we can keep democracy and not lose it to a dictator's whim or a president that calls himself king, or at least he feels like he's king. I just want to say that I am running for that office because I believe that we can turn this thing around for God. I believe the government can be turned around for God. And I notice I use the word we because I'm talking about you, not only myself, but all of us. Like this coronavirus, we're all in this together. And so I'm looking at all of us to work together to turn this around. But we have to work together. We have to, we're not going to always agree. And I would not expect all of us to agree on everything. But we must agree that we need to stop this pandemic. And I believe that I have all 50 states and every American's attention, as well as those around the world, that believes that we have to stop this pandemic before it gets worse. Hello, Mother. That we have to stop this. And the only way we're going to stop this is doing what they... Excuse me. Thank you. Man, makes it hard for me. My camera's acting up, so I gotta lean forward from time to time. So if y'all see me do that, it's only because I'm trying to keep the focus of the camera. then we have to stop this pandemic. There's no middleman here, and there's no ifs, ands, but. So we have to do what we have to do. There's 3 things we don't want. Let me say this again. There's 3 things we don't want to happen. One on the top list is any more deaths. We don't want any more. So we need to help the ones that that have it. If you have it and you're starting to show small signs of it, but you can be able to breathe, quarantine yourself. Call your health official. Ask them what you can do to avoid going to the emergency room and what you can do at home to quarantine yourself. And stay away from others. That means include your immediate family if there's, hopefully, there's not a lot of people in the house and you do live in a place where, you can kind of separate. If you don't have a basement and you live on a 2-bedroom apartment or a house and it's all on one floor, for God's sake, send your family to an hotel. You don't want to infect them. Think about them. I know this is rough for a lot of people, and I know we want people around us all the time. But if you're infected, and you know you're infected, and you can't separate yourself from your family because there's not enough room in your apartment or your home, then send them to a hotel. Hopefully they don't have it, they don't come up with any symptoms, and they don't affect anyone else, and you haven't affected them. Make sure they leave with their masks on, of course, just in case. And send them to a hotel until you can be able to weather the storm with your help. This is one of the main concerns I'm concerned with, that we as an American people, I don't care what state you're from. I don't care what country, I mean, really, I don't care what state you're from. I don't care what nationality you are, ethnic background, it doesn't matter. I do not want any more deaths in this country because of the American people not preparing themselves or taking care of themselves. Now, I know the things that the government need to be doing, and stop, the federal government especially, and stop crying and whining over this, that, or the other, and do what they need to do. These doctors and these nurses on the front lines need their equipment. They need ventilators. They need all kinds of things. Number one of all, we need the vaccines, but we don't need garbage. We need the real stuff. And if they say that's about 18 months out, that's what it is. We don't need anything that anybody can concoct within 6 months, especially if we haven't had any trials done, any trials done or clinical trials done to prove its validity that it does work against this menace, this virus. So that's definitely one of the ones I'm looking to. 2 is that if you know of somebody that's not petitioning, but that is out and about and they picketing and they protesting, please talk to them and say, you're hurting us. You are hurting us. You're not helping us, you're hurting us. You're exposing us to a greater risk. In any gathering or organization, there's a leader. And you need to find out who orchestrated or who's the leader of the pack. And talk to this individual and talk some sense in him so he'll make these people disperse and go home. Because people like to follow somebody that they believe have the same common goals. And if you're going to follow someone that's going to go out and petition because you're saying you have a constitutional right to get out and picket and protest, which is freedom of speech and the First Amendment of the Constitution. Again, This is a pandemic that makes things a little bit more different. And yeah, you still have your freedom of speech, and you want to keep that, then don't be on the streets out there with picketing and protesting, please, because the mayor is going to do what the mayor has to do. The governor and the lieutenant governor are going to do exactly what they have to do, and that means cleaning the city square. That simply means getting all of you guys off City Square with all the noise and trying to get you back to go home safely, to get you home, go to a safe place without arresting you, or putting you, detaining you and locking you up somewhere. And then just send you to say go home, then just stop and go home. Explain to you in the last video how you can do this, with intelligence. You have a voice, use it. Call the governor, call the lieutenant governor, call the mayor, call anyone you can call to get them to answer the phone or to voice your concerns. There's a newspaper, there's the news media. If you got to contact every news media there is to get your story out there, then do what you got to do so the governor or the mayor or the lieutenant governor will sit and take notice and hear your concerns and your voices. Don't take no for an answer. And you keep bugging somebody. Sooner or later, somebody's going to answer your call, and they're going to just listen to you. And you just simply said, this is not a 2-minute soundbite. I need somebody to hear me. I need somebody to understand where we're coming from. If you don't believe me, come to my neighborhood. I'll talk to you across the way with a mask. You talk to me with a mask. I'll get a few people in an area that we're not congested and that we're following the social distances, so you can ask us questions. And we're going to give you the answers to what we feel in this community, this neighborhood, this town, this city, and this state. What better way to get your voice heard than you get out on the streets out there and infect everybody? So let's do this smart. Let's do this right. And please, let's do this intelligently. And I would even say, let's do this quietly. Let's cut you off these streets. Go home. Because you're not making things better. You're making things worse. Go home. Find out if you've been infected. Check with your doctor. Call the health officials. Tell them I was one of the ones out in the protests. I know it was crazy. I know it didn't make any sense, but I was one out there. And I want to be tested to make sure that I don't have coronavirus. See, that's how you use your snogging. You do it smart. You look out for those. And if they say you got it, call some people that you know that was out there with you. Tell them to get tested, because they just may have it as well. And you don't want them to spread this no more than they have to. Let them know who you were around and who was out there at that time. Everything you did from the time you hit that square and on the way back to your house. Where did you go? Who did you see? Anybody you talked to? These are the people you need to let your health advisors know that, okay, it's a possibility. Now that you told me I might be affected or I am affected, I need you to go check these other people, because I don't want them to spread this thing any further than it has to be. And one of the last things we don't want: rioting, looting, fighting, destruction on any of our city streets, neighborhoods, throughout the country. This is one of their agendas. This is one of the agendas that you should not want happen in your hood, in your neighborhood. You should not want this to happen. I don't want this to happen to you. And we certainly don't want martial law, because they already got their fingers on itchy finger. Their fingers are itchy finger. They're ready to push the button for the National Guard. They're already talking about depopulation. If you live in a neighborhood where there's 100% of African Americans, brother, my sister, think before you act. You will be the first neighborhood they come marching down with M16, M1, ubiquitous M1 machine gun rifles, tanks, armored vehicles, with M16s, assault weapons in your neighborhood, trying to quarantine you by curfew. And if you don't obey, anybody caught outside of those times can be arrested or shot on sight. This is what you call martial law. You don't want that. Trust me. Being ex-military, I'm telling you, you don't want this on U.S. soil. And they've been itching to push that button. Because that's what they want. That's what this whole mass hysteria is. That's what the spin is. People lying and putting false propaganda in the streets about lack of food and all this other stupid stuff about, there's not enough we're going to run out of tissue. Baby, you're not going to run out of tissue. You're not going to run out of household products. You're not going to run out of food. So let's stop acting like we're savages and taking more than we need for our own household, because there are other people who live in that neighborhood too. And stop taking stuff and going and selling piece by piece to someone twice the price you would normally pay yourself. Come on, this is not right. It's not fair, and it's basically illegal. Actually, it is illegal. You follow what I'm saying? Let's be smart, folks. I'm talking to everyone in this country. Let's be smart. We are American people. You're my brother, you're my sister. We're supposed to look out for one another. If one state is doing okay, then that state should look over to the neighboring state and say, hey, brother, what can we do to help you? We're not, of course, nobody, we're not trying to get reinfected or get more affected. But if our numbers are down flat, we want to help you to get your numbers down flat. What can we do from this state that can help your state through the right channels to get your numbers down? And that's how we work together. It's one state helping another state helping another state, until we all could come together and say, you know what, we are our brother's keepers. We're looking out for one another. That means we decided we're going to work together, form a coalition to work together amongst ourselves in the absence of government. And the reason why I said this is because if we're waiting for them to help us, the American people, they're just waiting for us to do something silly. Do something that's, how they say, less than intelligent, so they can call us ignorant. They're just waiting. And as your presidential candidate, I want to see better for all of us. I know that you want to see the best for your children and your children's children. You want to see a world that they can thrive and grow and produce and become, and they can even they will do better things than we have. You never know. I got grandkids, okay? I got children, which I know my grown children are not interested in politics, so I'm not worried about that part. But maybe their children will be. How am I supposed to know that my grandson or my granddaughter one day will grow up to be in that age bracket where she wants to make a name for herself, to help, not even so much to make a name for herself, but want to help America stay strong? And she comes up behind me, or he comes up behind me and said, thank you, Granddaddy, you opened the door. That means for the next 50 to 75 years, the door's left wide open for any minority, Afro-American or immigrant, to become president of the United States. This also includes women. But it takes someone to stand, to make that point clear, to change it all. And I'm that somebody. Already mentioned, my running mate will be a female. And I'm going to tell you 2 reasons why. One, if you look at all the foreign countries that are run by females, you come to find out, guess what? Their epidemic is down low, or they basically have no more cases, or their country is flatlined. They can start putting their country back together little by little. I've seen the numbers. There are women that handle situations a lot more quicker than men do. Now, there are some that, well, highly questionable. But for the most part, I think a man and a woman team, president being male, and the vice president a female, is an awesome team. I believe it would work in ways we have yet to see it happen. Or it could reverse. It could be a woman president and her vice president is a male. Doesn't matter. It works. I want to see that happen one day. In my administration, if God opened the door for that to happen, I'm going to have a female vice president. Now, I already mentioned that I wanted to be a Latino woman. Somebody questioned me about that, but it was funny. And I said, it doesn't matter. I'm telling you what I want particularly, but it could be, as long as she has some experience, long as she understands politics, long as she's not out here to make a name for herself, and she's a servant type individual, humble, have the same mindset that I have as far as moving forward and taking this country beyond its imagination, then I want to talk to her, whoever she is. If she could be Afro-American, it doesn't matter. Again, like my preference is Latino, and that covers a great span of the span of the Latino population. I'm willing to even have an Asian vice president. It doesn't matter. And if I was having a preference, it would probably be Japanese or someone in that direction. Chinese. I mean, we got a problem with China now, so I don't know if I'm going to want that in the White House. Could be working for me if you want, but as far as in power, I don't know. Not fully closing the door to that idea, but I'm just saying, I don't know. But I'm talking about what's real, and to keep it moving. And to one day look at this in the rearview mirror and say, whew, whew. But always moving forward, getting ahead of the next thing that could possibly slow us down or to cut us off. Strategically always moving in every area of our lives. Helping American people help themselves. We need to have American people that learn to help ourselves. Now, this goes into an interesting span. And like I said on a couple of videos back, I will give you more information on that as we go, as we get closer to June, I would say, because that's about midway of the primaries right now. Primaries are pretty much for time being. But anyway, and As we get closer, I'll explain more and more to you on how we can help ourselves. Believe me, it's something we probably haven't even thought about, but it will help us help ourselves in the long run. Okay, now, getting back to business as usual, we're going to have to accept the idea that when we are able to come back in full swing and the whole economy or the whole America is back to work, it's not going to be our normal norms. Let me say that again. It's going to be our new norm. It's not going to be our normal, the one we used to. That's over. Convince yourself. Tell yourself that on a daily basis. Write it down on a piece of paper. Stick it somewhere when you see it, or where you can see it every day. My old norm is over. We're not going back to 2019. We're not going back to early before, but January is when it started, so let's go back. We're not going back to October, just before October of 2019, where everything was pretty much normal. It was unnormal, but yet normal, because we didn't know this was already we didn't know that this was already happening. And our leader shrugged his foot about jumping ahead of this and kept downplaying it. And then when he had no more choice but to face the idea we're in a pandemic, it's too late to want to do something or try to do something and try to get credit for doing something when you could have been way ahead of the game. We would not have this many people dying anywhere at any time if the President of the United States had done his job. Well, they're telling me two things. One, he's completely ignorant to the fact of what goes on around the world and in the world. That tells me he has no business being in the seat at all. Or two, he's one of the main contributors to what we have just faced and what we are facing. And he knows all about it, but he's playing dumb. Either or. It really doesn't matter now, does it? So we have to move forward. We have to be such a loud noise to the Capitol, to the White House, and let President Donald Trump know we're not going away quietly in the dark. We're not shutting up. We're not going to stop getting on your nerves. We're going to hold you to the fire because you're the leader, and you're supposed to be the one to lead. You're the one that's supposed to jump into action and be responsible. I don't care who else messed up. You're responsible because you're the president. Own up to your responsibility, sir. And stop talking about it. Make it happen. You're always blaming President. You always blaming Andrew Cuomo, Governor Andrew Cuomo, about if he's just get up and stop complaining and do something about it. Well, I believe if you gave him the material he was looking for, I'm quite sure he could. If you stop politicking this thing and making this about make this politics and make it more about human lives, you can do something about this. This is not politics. People are dying all around us. This is not politics. And we need to do something about it. So if our leaders are not doing anything about it because they figure we're too dumb to figure it out, or they figure, well, they might know something, but they're not going to do anything about it. This is where they made their mistake. Yeah, we are. We're going to start working together and saving our own skin because we have a leader that can't even save his own butt, so I can't expect him to save mine. Now, it says in the article, 25th article of the Constitution, and Amendment 4 of that article, I believe it was, if if I'm correct, if I'm saying it correctly. It's talking about a U.S. president that is not mentally stable to do his job in the capacity of President of the United States can be removed. Now, I know he's got a lot of Republican friends out there that's still somehow loyal to this man. And I don't see any reason why they should still be loyal to him. Because his loyalty for the United States has ran out a long time ago. He's only loyal to himself and to them that will listen to him. Anybody else, there is no line of loyalty. So, we're talking about the GOP. We're talking about the right-wingers. Now, he's been really jumping on the Democrat again. Pelosi, Chair Speaker Pelosi, the Democrat Party, and they saying the Democrat this and the Democrat that. And they didn't do this and they didn't do that, and we're doing this and they still doing that. Blah, 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 blah. It gets old, it gets stale, and it gets on my nerves. Stop blaming people and take responsibility for your actions, Mr. President, and then you'll gain the respect. You're at that point stage of the game that pretty much your respect is out the door and nobody respects you, not even the ones in your own cabinet. They don't respect you. But you got them so scared that if they show any signs of unloyalty, they're either fired or they go missing. How did that happen? Anyway, conspiracy theorist? I don't know. Why don't we all find out? Why don't we all become friends with Donald Trump and then all of a sudden, let's disrespect him and see what happens to us? He knows a lot of cronies. I don't know. He knows a lot of underworld figures. Really. I don't have time for this. I really don't. I don't have time for a president that doesn't have time for the American people. I don't have time for the jargon that's used throughout the media that's spinning this stuff that's not actually giving us the truth. I just don't have time for it. What I do have time for is the American people. And I have time to help each and every American to push forward and to push back against this tyranny, this way this president is carrying himself. And he's not even president. He's not even the way he's acting and carrying on. It's not one of the traits for a president of the United States. And one of the biggest things is love. If you don't love you, you can't love anyone. And if you're not showing love to the American people, that means you're showing the American people something else. And let's not forget about, there's people dying around the world that's looking for this country to show that love. We can't. If the government is stirring up racism, putting the GOP against the Democrats and the Democrats against the GOP and the United Nations are up in arms because the WHO is being attacked by the president and you know, the CDC is being highly questionable by the president and your doctors, Fauci and Sanchez, friends with Bill Gates, and they're down with his agenda. You know, that's depopulation. You know, again, who do you trust? And then they got the nerve to talk about Dr. Oz, Dr. Phil, and that other fellow that was on the news the other night. And they want to make these guys look like they're a bunch of idiots. Why would you say the things they say, which is true? Why would you say that? But at the same time, you know better if you're doing the same spin. They're just doing it better. And the thing about this is like, how is that helping anybody? If you're busy trying to Discredit everybody that looks like they want to help. And some of the problem is that we don't have no real people that want to help. And the real people that want to help is being fired or being stifled or hushed. Gag order. For whatever reason. Well, I can't be stifled. You can't make me hush up. And you can't put a gag order on me. I got a big mouth. And once I get started, your stealth fighter couldn't put me out. That must mean I must really got a big mouth. For the right things. For the people. Now, I know you guys heard a million times different candidates say a lot of things. I'm not a million candidates. I'm just me. I want to get back to the call of the day, the business of the day. We got so many other issues out here to worry about. Gun control, infrastructure, environment, clean air projects, homelessness, human trafficking, child pornography, child trafficking. We got so many other issues. Immigration reform, prison reform. We need to get those children out of the hands of ICE at the border or the Border Patrol. They're killing these babies. We need to reunite them back with their family. The inhumane way they're treating these people of these children and these young teens are ridiculous. And they're on U.S. soil that they're doing it on. And they could argue and say, well, that's between the U.S. soil and Mexico. It's still the same thing as our officers. I don't see no logic in it. See, these are the things we need to also be paying attention to. We still got drug smugglers, gun runners, illegal gambling. Now they want to legalize prostitution. See, all kinds of things. We still have the crime rate in Chicago and all the other places that used to be pretty high are down now because of coronavirus. Everybody's standing out like, I can't go shoot you today. You wait till it's over. That's dumb. But anyway, you understand what I'm saying? Sometimes this sounds like a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. But we still have gun violence. See, all of these things are still going on, whether we like it or not, and we're so stuck up here on coronavirus. I understand it's just as important, it's more important, seemingly more important than anything else in the news today, and which is true, we need to do something about it. We do, but we can't forget the other issues. Show me a president that's only a one-sided person that sees only one issue that affects the American people and not everything else, then I'm going to show you a president that is only a one-event president. When it comes to anything else, he's going to be like Donald Trump today. Have no idea what the heck is going on. There's still foreign affairs. There's still trade. There's still all kinds of business dealings. Hopefully we can straighten out the crooked ones and make them good ones. There's our allies out there. We got to get the United Nations back at the table and form a more powerful allies with the United Nations. The EU is breaking up. Because nobody trusts the United States anymore. Look at his leader. We got to push back on Russia. Push back on the Iranians. Actually, I didn't say go back and start no more trouble with them. I think he was a little rash about his intentions about blowing up something over there. I think he should have waited a little bit longer on that one because we had need to see exactly what they were doing. But I don't know about the intel. I don't know how dangerous they were. This is information American people don't get. But I believe he might have, could have, unless it was a guaranteed threat on the United States. And I think the war was basically, that little escapade was over oil. Who controls oil controls the money. And since the United States has basically run out of money, we need oil. Oil is money. We can make sanctions. We can charge other OPEC nations more money if we control the oil. Now, that's backroom dirty business. That's what it is. You follow what I'm saying? There's a lot of things going on Capitol Hill. They're lobbyists. Okay? You got all these special interest groups. The PACs, the super PACs. All these things that are going on Capitol Hill. Right up under our noses. Behind the scenes. And if they can keep us focused on this, they still get away with everything else right underneath our nose and behind the scenes. And when we look around again, we think about how the hell that just happened. Because we won't pay attention to nothing else. I'm sorry. Now, I know this is going to be funny because I wear glasses. And by now, you guys have noticed one of my eyes go from time to time. And, well, that's just the way it is. It's the way I was made. Oh, well, don't like it? Don't look at my eyes. I just kind of assume which way I'm looking and kind of get in that area. So you know he's looking at me. I can joke about myself because it's me, right? But I'm going to tell you a president that has eyes almost back of his head. Because I got to see everything coming from every direction. Not just from one direction. I need to see what's coming from every direction. I need to know the people's working with me. Working in the White House. Working in other governments or contracting governments that's for the White House. In every other place like the Pentagon and other businesses just like that. And our cyberspace engineers and all these intelligent agencies and all this. I need to know the interfunctioning, interworking of every last one of these entities. Now, I've heard, I don't know how true this is, but I've heard the president don't need to know about all that until time that we're in a situation that is called DEFCON 1, 2, 3. That means we're almost at war. Then the president get to meet a contractor group that we ain't never seen before. Oh, shoot, I was going to call them. Oh, well. Oops. And contact group that we said, and then you're looking at these people like somebody you ain't never met before, and they telling you, Mr. President, we need to declare a war. And you're looking at them like, on what grounds? They did this and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. I'm saying, but had they? Well, we got 25%. I said, well, good. When you get 75% sure that that's what they're going to do, get back with me. And then I'm going to go and get on my little phone and call somebody and say, who is this organization and who runs it? And why am I talking to this person? Because this person is trying to get me to do something that I don't even know you. So talk to me. But it's been said that the president is not supposed to know all of the contractors and places on in Washington, and Fairfax, Virginia, Alexandria, training sites for CIA, FBI. The president ain't supposed to know about all that. The president ain't supposed to know how deep underground the different offices in the Pentagon is. Sub-level 3. I ain't supposed to know that. Dang. Watch too much TV. And people say, oh, this TV is not real. Okay. I did some homework. You're running for president of the United States, you better know something. Not whether it's true about the history books or not, or which I know history lies to you all the time. Anyway, but doing your homework, and when they stop talking about it, that means there's a level of truth to it, and they can't give you any more information on it. That means you hit the nail right on the head, and they're like going, I'm sorry. Unless you're part of that, classification, you don't get that information. Hardly Sullivan, the president, goes to the Pentagon. Sullivan, the president, goes to the U.S. Embassy. And he's right here in the United States. Sullivan. Or any other U.S. embassies around the world. Unless we had a state of war. And then he doesn't go there anyway. He gets on this big screen and sees everybody. And he'd be like, what? Oh, okay. See, I think that in order to make a very effective president, you better know what's going on around you. In your intelligence, what's going on in the CIA, the FBI, Secret Service, out at the camp, training grounds for these naval SEALs, Navy SEAL 3, SEAL 6, MI6, MI15. We're training these people to be stealth. Go in, do what you got to do, and get out. Now, I'm not saying you're supposed to know every little manual that they have and every little tactical skills they have. No, I'll leave that to them because that's what they do. But you need to know that they function. And you do need to know what is it that their job is when they go into these places. Because if they go into this place and do something crazy or a little excessive, and it's not, the President of the United States is unaware of this, how could the President protect himself or to protect the American people if there's a blowback? And they're going to look at the President because he gave the order. I gave the order to who? Oh, to Navy SEAL 6. Okay. Did I know the mission? Well, Mr. President, you're not supposed to know the mission. Dang if I ain't supposed to know the mission. What are you, I'm giving permission to? What I'm giving permission to do? Permission to do. I need to know. Because they go blow up something they got no business blowing up. Or if they blow up something a little too soon and then we wind up in war because I gave permission. And not knowing what this branch or contractors do. Now, the American people may never know what these people do. But as your president, I better know. I need to know. Now, there's powers to be that says the president can't know all these things because they're secretive. Like there's a secret society, blah, blah. And that's what some of us do, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm here to tell you there are. And they're very powerful organizations. And it goes to the top of the brass. And that's probably why the country is corrupted the way it is today. I'm only one person. I'm only one man. I can't certainly do this by myself. But I do need the help of the American people to stand behind me, stand with me, and say, this is our president. We appointed him because we believe that he can do the job. And if anything's going down, you might as well take all of us with him, because I believe he's doing a heck of a job. Now, will I be able to take advice for other people? I'm quite sure I will. I hope. I got some advisors, real advisors. Some people that know what they're doing. Some people that can advise me on the ins and outs of certain things. Because knowledge is power, of course. And not just me, my vice president. She needs to know exactly what I see. She needs to see what I see and know exactly what I know. Because if anything happened to me, she's definitely president. And I don't want her to sit back not knowing anything. We don't need another Donald Trump or any clones of him. We need somebody bright, brilliant, smart, intelligent, strong, able-bodied, able-minded, that could take on this task with love and move the American people forward into the upcoming years and be able to face anything and everything that the world has to offer or throw at us. That includes our enemies. Then we have to let them know. We may have been down, but we're back up. We may have been called a lot of things, but never again. We may look weak. We're more stronger than you can ever imagine. Look like you're lagging, but we're very resilient. And we will fight. And we will win. Simple. It's about uniting the American people and the U.S. government once again under a great power. The only power that I know is greater than any power in the world, God. And America wants to country. Look to our allies with confidence, and they can look to us with confidence. And patch up some of the bad blood we have with Israel and Syria and places that we turned our backs on. Not negotiating stuff, not trying to do some backroom deal and being a bully and trying to underhand the Ukrainians like we tried to do. And Donald Trump got busted. But to work with countries. To work together. You may know something we don't know. We may have something you need. But we work together. Not trying to outmaneuver each other, con each other, bully each other, but listen to each other, understand each other. Then we can thrive all together as a world. Once again, my name is George Wilson. I am running for the President of the United States of America. I am your Democratic candidate from California. So those of you who want to vote for me again, you had to remember you had to write me in. I'm a write-in president, sorry. You have to write me in and then vote for me in November 3rd of this year. If you want me to be your president, you have to vote. Write me in and vote for me. I will say this on this evening, so you have a wonderful evening. When I do become president of the United States. Somebody says, it's being very presumptuous. I know. But I just believe. Big difference. I will not have a partisan office. I will not have a bipartisan office. I will have a nonpartisan office. Now, those of you who know anything about bipartisan and partisan, nonpartisan meaning is not going to be about the GOP, and it's not going to be about the Democrats. It's more like an independent office. Simply meaning the Democrats and the Republicans are going to have to work together if they want this president to do to agree on anything. They have to work together. Simple. Don't pass me a piece of legislation you want me to look at, or a bill you want me to look at, that you want me to vote or sign my name to, if both parties are not in total agreement of the bill you're sending me, or a piece of legislation you're sending me. If you can't agree, then go back, restructure it, rewrite it, bring it back. See, that's the only way we're going to become united. If we have a president saying, no, do it again. This time, do it right. Because the next time you send it to me, I'm going to look at it. And then I'm going to redline every little thing I think you guys need to go over. And if y'all come to the agreement on the red line, then it's agreed upon. I'll sign it. If not, we're going to continue to go around circles. Or I'm just going to tell you, just throw the bill out. Come up with another one. That one is dead. Don't bring it back to me. I don't care if you go to the Senate. I'll talk to the Senate just as sure as I'm talking to you now. No. Because you can't come to an agreement. Now, are you going to agree on every little thing? Probably not. Will I probably get in the middle of something? More than likely. But it's the whole idea is everybody coming together and working together. I will work with both parties together. I'm not going to work with the Republicans and then not listen to the Democrats. I'm not going to work with the Democrats and not hear what the Republicans got to say. Regardless who owns the Senate, who owns the House. Come together. Let's talk about it together. Let's come to an agreement together. And if we can come to an agreement together, we can get things done. No more appropriations. No more sitting down on this, sitting on a bill and say, I'll vote on it when I get ready. No. No more. No more. There's too much stuff in appropriations right now that ain't been done for years. Through the Obama administration, the George W. Bush administration, and so on and so forth. That just swept under the feet, under the carpet, and get cobwebs to the point that that's an old bill when it does resurface, and we done moved on so much that bill wouldn't even make no sense to even pass now anyway, because, and that's what some of them, what they're doing. They're sitting on bills that, or sitting on things that could be used right now, but it's hung up in appropriation because they're saying don't vote on it. Let it sit, and then it'll be obsolete anyway. And then we can't use it. We have to come up with another one. Where that bill could have worked. No. No more lazy Congress. No more lazy Senate. No appropriations. It's called, under the new norm, let's get back to work. And let's make things happen in our borders. And for those American citizens that are abroad in our military, that we make them more safer, protect them. Now there's some American citizens that we have to keep out there because we have to protect the DMZ. We have to protect the no-fly areas. We have to protect our borders in the Mediterranean. But there's no one can say that we can't replace them with fresh people. They've been out there for years. You need to come home. We send a batch that's fresh, know exactly what to do, and send them to that ship. And when we swap it out, and when the ones come home to their families, we have jobs for them. We have placement for them. We have money for them that they can take care of their families. I've seen already, we're going to do all we can for the United States veterans. And with this pandemic the way it is, they're shut in, and less is being done to help them. It was that problem before this pandemic. Now it's worse because of the pandemic. We need to do something. So we can't be stuck on pandemic. We need to say no more deaths. Let's get this number down. Let's everybody abide by the rules. Let's get this number down. Let's get a grip on it. We got it isolated. We know where it is. Now we're just trying to keep it where it is, that it spreads no further. Then we urge the CDC and the WHO and the EPA, whomever else is in charge, to say we need a we need a vaccine. We need it soon. Can you make it quicker than 18 months? I'll take a year. But let's see, can we speed this up? Because we got it under control. We got it contained. But we still need to do something about the ones that are still sick. We want them to get well. We want people out of the hospitals well enough to go home and start that recovery process. That's how we get back open. That's how we get to do things. And if we don't start doing this, the more and more we're more concerned about the spread and not trying to do what we need to do, we're going to forget every other thing that we face. And then when it's time to look at these things, they're going to be so out of control, it'll be like a whole nother pandemic. And it has to do with the way the world's being run. So we need to keep an eye on everything, not just one thing, but everything. But never count nothing as nothing. But everything is just as important. So we don't miss anything. Again, guys, have a wonderful afternoon. Fellow citizens, Americans, have a wonderful afternoon. Have a blessed weekend. I will not be back on tomorrow, but I will be back Monday. So again, this is my presidential review number 7. So if you have time, go over all 7 of them. From the first one I did to this one right here. Go over them and just listen to it. Some a little more lengthy than others, but you'll get the point. Because I care about you. I love everybody. And I love to be an American. And I want you to be able to be proud and say to yourself, and everybody that ever you talk to, I'm proud to be an American. God bless you. God bless the United States, and God bless the American people.